CBN's medical reporter Lori Johnson is here now with more on this development. So there are a lot of potential treatments out there that are being considered, but only a few have gotten FDA emergency use authorization. How does this treatment stand out from the others?
Well, that's right. A lot of people are saying this works, that works, and the other thing works, but the FDA has only granted emergency use authorization for 3 drugs, 3 treatments really. Of course, we know a remdesivir, that's an antiviral, dexamethasone, which is a steroid, a corticosteroid, and now convalescent plasma. And so what makes these 3 special are studies that show they work, not anecdotal evidence where people say, I gave this treatment and this person got better. We don't know if that person would have gotten better on their own.
Right.
So we need those scientific studies, and that's what really separates this from the other ones. We know that the Mayo Clinic did a study of 30,000 patients, believe it or not, and showed that of people who were given convalescent plasma early on, Ephraim, within the first 3 days of being hospitalized, their death rate decreased by 35%. So that's something to rejoice about. That there is some people are sort of poo-pooing it, saying, well, that's not very much, but every little bit helps in these days. And so convalescent plasma isn't really a new treatment at all. It's been around for 100 years, and it's very simple. The way it works is you take people who have recovered from coronavirus have those wonderful antibodies. Those are the little soldiers that fight off the virus still in their blood. And when they give blood, then they take that blood and give it to sick patients who are lacking enough of those life-saving antibodies. And those antibodies from recovered patients are what helps other people recover.
Now, the major problem with convalescent plasma, it is completely dependent on COVID-19 survivors donating blood, of course. Are there enough people stepping forward and doing that?
Yes and no. And so we need people, and this is the problem, is it's dependent upon people who have recovered from coronavirus. We know that an amazing number of people have recovered from coronavirus. About 1 million Americans have. I know several people who have recovered from coronavirus, and I will note, none of them have given blood. So what word to the people who have recovered from coronavirus, regardless of whether you got any medical treatment or were hospitalized, we need your blood. Go to coronavirus.gov, or you just call the Red Cross. And so that's how people are giving. Even the United States government has started an ad campaign, an $8 million ad campaign, to get the word out that if you've recovered from coronavirus, we need your blood.
And now that you say that, I know a few who've recovered as well who haven't, so I need to get on that. How does the emergency use authorization make it easier for patients to get this plasma?
Really just removes a lot of the red tape, especially in hospitals. You know, they have to fill out a lot of forms and do a lot of paperwork to get these treatments that haven't been authorized by the FDA for emergency use authorization. So it really does kind of, reduce a lot of the paperwork, which we know is a big deal in hospitals these days because hospitals, by and large, are overwhelmed.
Absolutely. Aren't researchers developing a treatment that mimics convalescent plasma?
Yes, they are. And so this is really great. It's called Antimicrobial Therapy, and it's sort of an imitation of convalescent plasma. They make a convalescent plasma. They make these antibodies in a laboratory, and they're doing very well in trials, in phase 2 clinical trials right now. And so this could be something that emerges as a way to help people with COVID-19 without other people who have survived having to give blood. And so that's something very promising on the horizon.
Just a few seconds and a real quick question. Where do we stand on the vaccine? How closer are we?
Oh, this has become a political issue, hasn't it? You know, President Trump is really hoping to get this vaccine approved before Election Day on November 4th. And it looks like it's going to be sort of touch and go. And he's really pushing these drug companies to get these trials finished. But as the health experts have been saying all along, Operation Warp Speed, yes, we're doing everything to speed it up, but we're not going to cut corners when it comes to safety and efficacy. Right now, we have a number of contenders that are in phase 3 clinical trials, which means 30,000 people are receiving the vaccine, and they're being monitored, and we have to wait, 8 weeks, maybe 3 months to see how they do.
Now, we'll keep watching. Lori Johnson, thank you so much for
My
the
pleasure.
update. Much appreciated.